Sydney Harbour has long been one of the nation's biggest tourism drawcards. But yesterday, the city's popular landmarks were obscured by thick smoke, the latest pollution alert after weeks of relentless bushfires burning around Sydney.
We're seeing air quality at the worst it's ever been. I mean, if this isn't what climate change looks like, then God help us when it does hit us.
The massive pall of smoke stretched from Canberra in the south to Brisbane in the north.
Sydney-siders today suffered through some of the worst air quality ever recorded.
The air quality was 10 times above hazardous levels.
Just when we thought it couldn't get any worse, it did.
This week, Sydney's pollution hit its highest level yet, with the air quality index skyrocketing to more than 2,000, 4 times the pollution reading for New Delhi. The World Health Organization says safe levels are below 50.
Because this is a new phenomenon, we don't really know how to deal with it. If we just look at the number of days where the air quality was rated as being hazardous last month, there was 11 days. So for a third of the month, what's really worrying is that last month and perhaps this month, the actual levels are much higher than before.
It's a concern that's front of mind for Sydney mother Andrea Belinek, whose 13-year-old daughter Lenny suffers from asthma.
Normally, we would think about her having asthma maybe, once in a while. This was becoming it's a daily event. And you have to think about whether the things that Lenny can do and can't do really are based on whether she'll be able to breathe or not.
They spent yesterday inside and Lenny was forced to miss her athletics training.
Our air purifiers at home were showing hazardous levels inside the house.
It really scares me because I think about all the things that I really want to do outside, and I want to go play, I want to go swimming. And I can't do this because of the air pollution.
Breathe in.
Researchers like Professor Brian Oliver say there's no safe level of pollution, and they're warning against complacency as the smog lingers for weeks on end.
What they may not realise is that if they're exposed to that pollution day in, day out for a couple of months, there's going to be long-term health consequences for them.
And what are those long-term health consequences?
At the moment, we don't really know. If you're exposed to pollution 365 days a year, the effects are very similar to what you get if you were to smoke cigarettes. So you have things like lung cancer, you have cardiovascular disease, you have respiratory disease. But when we're exposed to these levels of pollution, say for 1 or 2 months a year, we're not quite sure what the risks are going to be. What I can tell you is that they're not going to be good.
We can't continue with business as usual. Doing nothing is not a solution. This is exactly what the scientists told us would happen with regard to climate change.
What's been the best phone call you've had today?
You would be much more at home in the greens.
Oh.
Today, the New South Wales Environment Minister Matt Kean broke ranks with his federal colleagues and laid the blame for the air pollution and the bushfires causing it on climate change.
I don't think you can deny the link between climate change and more extreme weather events. All the science says we need to limit global warming by 2 degrees by 2050. And in order to achieve that, we need to hit zero net emissions by 2050. So on the current trajectory, we're not going to hit those targets.
72-year-old David Napier is feeling the effects more than most.
I am asthmatic, so that's causing me a lot of problems.
He hasn't stepped outside or even opened a window at his house in Campbelltown in far southwestern Sydney for days.
If I step 1 foot outside that door, then I'm in trouble. I've been out roughly 4 times in the last 6 weeks. Each time I've been out, I've come back, I've had an asthma attack. Oh, it's frightening. It's extremely frightening. Because when I start to cough, I can't stop.
David's done all he can to keep the pollution at bay, closing all the doors and windows and even buying an air purifier.
Thanks.
He's worried this could be the new normal.
It's actually pretty scary. I don't think we realise just how bad the smoke is and the devastating effect it's having on people who have lung conditions like myself or with heart conditions. It really is a life and death situation. And for me to go someplace is not that easy either because I need my chair, I need my bed, which is a rehab bed.
With no significant rain forecast for the coming weeks and dozens of bushfires continuing to burn, the outlook for pollution isn't good. There's every chance there will be more smoky days in store this summer for cities on the east coast.
It's quite depressing if it is the new normal, but it does seem to be becoming the new normal.
The younger generations, we're getting annoyed because we have to live in these conditions and we're the ones who have to suffer. We're the ones who have to stay inside.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.